Hello and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys fear to tread. Hello,
Jesus,
buddy.
Jay, you said that like you were a pro boy. Huh? You didn't miss a beat this time. Do you know what I mean?
I wake up in the
Uh,
middle of the night and do that, and boom.
yeah. Normally, like, you know, I'd be in stitches laughing at you because you fucked it up the first time or the second time. But anyway, so I suppose let's talk Le Mans. What do we think?
uh, it showed it's a turning point. It shows the marks out more or less for the season. It shows that the Aprilias are the by far the best bike out there. It showed that the Honda actually made a jump.
It did. It
It
did.
did.
It did.
They made a jump, and with Fabio on there next year, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with if they can keep the same level.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a step in the right direction for him. Like, but like for me, fuck me did was Martin on a different level to everyone. Like he was 100%, and like realistically, like it. This is everything that we wanted in a MotoGP championship, right? The top two teammates battling for a championship. Someone's going to lose. You know, it's kind of funny and ironic that you know Martin Martin is coming good and they're getting rid of him. And you remember it's like the Jorge Lorenzo story in Ducati as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That like it could it be for the second time in Martin's career that he could take number one to another manufacturer. So you know what I mean? But like say that he was the Martinator. Like there is no way that you could even suggest any other than that's what he was. Like even now you look at it, Mark on 57 points, even if he came back next race fit, it's an uphill struggle. Like he is not getting on well with the bike. You know, something is going on there. Like I am very
Well, the shoulder broke. They were going to operate on it anyway, even if he didn't crash.
you see, I'm very skeptical of that issue, right? Because all along he was saying like I don't know what's wrong with the bike, you know what I mean, you know, and all of this, and like the last time we spoke on the podcast, we talked about Pecco saying now Mark is facing the problems that I faced last year. Do you know what I mean? So is it Mark a little bit? Is it the bike a lot? Do you know what I mean? And like Mark spoke at length before Le Mans about his height and size, and because they're running different fairings. And one of the things I was genuinely wondering is that were Ducati blazing a trail just for Mark, and has this come back to fucking bite him big time? Do you know what I mean? Because where he was talking about specifically it was aerodynamics. You know, he was like, I'm a shorter rider, I don't have the leverage, I can get in a little bit lower, so I can use different aerodynamics to the others. And then I was kind of going to myself, well, maybe has Mark gone down a fucking route that it's not working. Now, the GP26, in my view, is not as good bike as a GP25, which was not as good as a GP bike 24, which was not as good as the 23. What sorry, was better than the 23, but
22.
not as good as the 22. So when I look at Ducati, right, I'm kind of going, they're engineering themselves in the wrong fucking direction. Do you know what I mean? Yes, they're
Right.
very good engineers, but they've lost that DNA and that feel of it. And the tires, yes, while they have changed a little, you know, the fundamental of that tire is still there. And I'm very concerned about it. I'm very concerned that Ducati have now been made look very ordinary. And not really ordinary, like, you know what I mean, but they have been looking made very ordinary. And we can say all about their engineering and all of this. It's a fundamental fact that the GP 20 from the GP24 to the 25 to the 26, they've gone backwards on feeling for the riders. Do you know what I mean? And they have. And that for me is a major worry. Now, Aprilia, on the other side of it, you know, they found something, electronics definitely for sure. This season, last season they were really good, don't get me wrong, but this season they found something to get the drive. Like I was looking at Martin and Pecco, and the Duke wasn't dropping the Aprilia down the straight anymore. Do you know what I mean? I know it's a short straight, and I know Alan Max going, wow, but it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It was epic, and you could see on the corners where the Aprilia was struggling, the Ducati was strong, but you could see the fast corners where the Aprilia was great, the Ducati was struggling. So all in all, look, I think it's interesting. And then, excuse me, to finish 1, 2, 3 in the main race, Ducati coming in fourth or whatever it was, it kind of put a real rubber stamp on it and kind of saying, Ducati are not even in our league now. Do you know what I mean? You know, whereas let's say last year, where the Aprilias were going to a race, you were looking and saying, would they be consistent? And they were in some, and they weren't in others. Do you know what I mean? So
they're still second, and they're still second by a pretty good long shot with third. It's not like Ducati's fell down the ladder. They're second.
No, but look, I would look at the concessions this year. Ducati could go into Group B. They could go backwards.
No, that would be good. Actually, that would be good for them. You know,
it would be. Yeah, well, they don't get too much. But look, I suppose, Jake, it's more of a thing of like, you know, they've dropped back rather than being the gold standard.
Yeah,
they're kind of whimpering into the end of the era of this championship. I suppose the
whole reason that Ducati went along with the 850s was to stop being the you know, FIM's whipping boy, so they could be on level playing ground, because there was no way they were ever going to be on level playing ground. They were never going to allow it.
I don't know, like what wins on Sunday sells on Monday, and like that old cookie jar is still going. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think Ducati will ever want to stop winning. And
no. They don't want to stop winning, but they thought, well, at least, you know, don't keep pounding us down, and we're always on the last for concessions. How about we, you know, if we have the strongest engineers, that's what they're thinking.
But yeah, that's what they're thinking. But I will call that into question now, right? Because
I call it into question now. You're right, but their thought was we're the strongest engineers.
Mm-hmm.
But so if we have a level playing field, we'll jump ahead anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't disagree with you in that. I think you're right, but I think they're
underestimated Aprilia.
I think they just got too big for their boots, right?
Yeah.
And like I think that they forgot that there's some really good key personnel that were in that team 2-3 years ago that were the dream team. And when that disbands, it all goes to fucking shit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at in Formula One, there was Michael Schumacher, Ross Brawn, Rory Byrne, what's the name? Jean Todt, and there was one other fella. And that was the dream team in Formula One. And as soon as that started to disband, the team went to shit. Do you know what I mean? And it's just similar. And I suppose, look, it is, you have a group of people working, but also there is the other side of it, right? And I call this the success fracture, right? Because you get used to winning, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck it, sure, look, we have 6/10 on them. And all of a sudden someone jumps 3/10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you only have 3/10. And we saw this happening last year.
Yeah.
Right. And now Aprilia have made another 0.4 of a jump, and they're out in front, and they're clearly out in front.
I remember somebody saying that they said, well, they said the Ducati actually jumped two tenths up, but the problem was their Aprilia jumped 8 tenths. They had a huge jump up, and that made them make them look bad. Which it seems to be that's the case. They're still the second best in there, but they're just not cutting it next to that Aprilia.
And they're not like they're really genuinely not cutting the mustard, right? And it's kind of it's brilliant in a way to see, and you might think that that's me hating on Ducati. It's not, right? But for me, the mark of a brand or a thing like this is like you engineer your way into trouble. Now, can you engineer your way out of it? And this is the same with Honda. This is the same with Yamaha. This is the same with Aprilia. Like you go back 5 years ago, right? You were getting on the Aprilia. It was the end of your career, right? It was like no one would fucking go near it. You know, Honda was the same. Yamaha kind of is in that territory now. Do you know what I mean? What the fuck would you go to the Yamaha for? Do you know what I mean? If you were a big name rider like Toprak at least has an excuse that he came into it. Do you know what I mean? He came into MotoGP. It's given him his leg into it.
Yeah,
and they're like there's no one can turn around and say Toprak isn't a fucking unbelievable rider because he's
right. He has the reason of I'm getting my toe wet in MotoGP.
Yeah.
If I'm going to, might as well have a whole team behind me.
Yeah,
which does make sense.
No, so look, it's kind of weird. All in all, look, I thought the French Grand Prix was pretty good. I think, hat off to Fabio Quartararo. I know I told him stop fucking whinging. That's exactly what we need out of Quartararo. I know it was his home Grand Prix and there was a little fucking piss and vinegar in it for him, but that's what we need out of him. We need to fucking see him grab the bike by the throat, find that 6/10 that no other fucking Yamaha rider can find, and just fucking go.
And he did.
Yeah, and he did. But something, I was looking at the pictures and videos of him after, right, and he looked so fucking happy in front of his home.
For the first time in a long time.
In a long time, and the image that actually flashed back at me was Rossi celebrating finishing in the top 10. I was just like, Joe, that is the same. Remember, he was fucking delighted, like as if it was a win. And it was the same for Fabio, like top 6, nothing really to write fucking home about. Do you know what I mean? But it felt a massive.
Yeah.
Anyway, I suppose you get into a bit of news there.
You can tell how good Fabio is going to do by his hair. If he comes in, he has a decent hairdo, or, like a normal everyday guy hairdo, it's fine. He comes in looking like some tranny, okay, he's going to be at the back of the pack.
Yeah, look, it's just I don't know. Look, it's just the way he was. That's kind of the expectation. That's what we have out of Fabio. And I will be honest, I felt that maybe at times the effort was lagging from his side because he was pissed off. And he has every right to be pissed off, right? But if he's made a decision to leave, then he should be given it fucking all one last go. Do you know what I mean? Here we fucking go, rather than give up. But anyway, that's just me being old school and fucking Irish and whatnot,
Yeah.
I suppose one of the things I want to talk about is Digi Antonio. Rumor has it he's signed for KTM.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Rumor has it that he's signed for KTM factory. Binder's out. We know Alex Marquez will be there, but that looks like that's going to be the combination next year. I thought Maverick might be in, but I think this injury has fucked him over. He might stay. He might not stay in the KTM factory or family because remember, there might not be a second KTM team next year.
Yeah.
Saying that though, there mightn't be a Gresini Ducati team next year. It could be Gresini KTM. You heard this here first. Like
I
I don't
love,
think
by the way, it pisses me off though that Honda doesn't know what they're just like. Well, we don't know if we're going to go 6 or not. We want to go. Think we're going to win 6.
but that's just negotiation.
KTM wanted 6 riders. FIM told them to go pound sand.
No. To be fair, no. To be fair, right, and we have to be right on this.
I'll be fair.
KTM wanted to add 2 more bikes to the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, not 6 bikes from the current grid. Remember that, and that's different.
Okay.
Because what the FIM said was that we're not going to give those 2 slots out unless it's a factory team. Do you know what I mean? So like they wanted a factory. So let's just say highly unlikely the likes of Suzuki, the likes of Kawasaki, even CF Moto, whatever, all of this. So if they were to entice one of those back in, that would be the much preferred one than putting 2 extra bikes on. And I can see it because at the end of the day, they have only 24 slots that are certified by the FIM or whatever it is. That's all they can use.
Right.
So I can understand why they wouldn't want to do it. Now, saying that, I also do believe that they could have done like short-term contracts, right? A factory is not going to have a bike ready in 2 years. They're not. Do you know what I mean? So they could have done something. To be fair, they could have done something saying, listen, we'll give you a 3-year deal, but if a factory comes along, you're going to get 2 years notice. Do you know what I mean? Oh, out the fucking door, gone. Do you get me? So look,
yeah.
So that's kind of where it is. But my understanding is he has signed for them. Not 100% sure the length of the deal, but it looks like it is going to be Alex Marquez and Digi Antonio in the KTM factory seat next year. The biggest questions for me is like, what is Grassini going to do? Like, Ducati is kind of pissing in its pants with it. Like, do you know what I mean? They took Fermin Aldegar out of their stable and put him into VR46. My understanding was VR46 were trying to keep Digi, but you know what this really means? Who's coming? If Digi goes, who's coming into VR46? And this will absolutely fucking kill Valentino Rossi.
No.
Who's coming? Who's coming?
Bagnaia.
Nope. Bins with a B, though.
What do you think?
Buliga. From Superbike.
I know, but didn't he get? He
got fucked out. He got removed from the VR46 Academy. That's why he's going to piss Rossi off.
Because I thought he had already signed as a test rider.
No, he's been given the test riding opportunities for next year because he's used to the Pirelli tires. But like my betting's on it, he goes and pisses on everyone in World Superbike. You'd be mad not to bring him up. You'd be absolutely mad. He's young, he's dumb, he's ready for it. Do you know what I mean? He's had the bad side of the MotoGP paddock, I bet, in Moto 2 and Moto 3, right? But you know, he is a Ducati protege now. Like, if you look at what he's done, like, he's won the Super Sport. He took Toprak, who was undoubtedly one of the top Superbike riders ever. He's pushed him all the way. Do you know what I mean? Right. You look at him now; he's fucking absolutely dominating. Like, it's like it's a fucking.
He's dominating in World Superbike, but does he have the speed for MotoGP?
Well, he knows the tires. John, that's going to be the biggest black magic. That's going to be the biggest black magic next year.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, yeah, he could know that he might be good for the dulled down version of MotoGP.
Yeah. So look, I think he could be in the running. Do you know what I mean? Like realistically, there's that Marini or Franco Morbidelli would stay. Who would you choose?
I don't know, but Franco Morbidello pulls this rabbit out of the hat. It seems like for years he always
Yeah,
gets a ride somewhere along the line.
yeah. It's always he always finds a way to get an unlucky punch and stay in the fight. But I think he's cooked this time. I think he will do a swap with Bulega is my thoughts. I think he will go to Ducati in World Superbikes.
That would be smart for him.
I think so. I think that's probably the move. Do you know? I think that's the move. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see where he ends up. So yeah, so I think Bulega to VR46 in next season. You know, that's what you love about MotoGP. But the one thing, like, and I was saying this to you via text, you know, like you were saying to me that there's no news on Mark signing, and like we're all reading about Mark signing and that it's almost done. It's just the fine details, but none of the major movers and shakers for next season have been announced.
Yeah.
And I find it really, really weird, right, at this stage, because, for example, just take Pecco to Aprilia, right? Like, if I was Aprilia, I'd be like super keen to fucking announce this, right? So I can start going like, okay, we have the all-Italian dream team. Let's get the title sponsors in. Let's get this fucking going. Do you know what I mean? Let's get title sponsorships, money, boom, 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 boom. Nothing. And this leads me to, and even with Mark, even with Alex, all of this, and it leads me to kind of believe, as I wonder, is Liberty Media keeping everything on the QT and kind of going to do a Drive to Survive sort of fucking like extravaganza or whatever it is. Let's try and build a hype about it. I don't know. I just find it very, very weird that there's nothing. Do you know what I mean? You know, like normally you'd hear the grumbles and like, okay, we've heard about Digi Antonio, we've heard about Mark. Like every dog in the street knows Pecco signed. Do you know what I mean? Everyone knows Costa is going to Ducati, and it's just like, it's just, it's like sitting inside in the room and you know who farted and no one's saying
that. Nobody wants to point fingers.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone knows it's that fellow over there in the corner, but no one's like going to go, you smelly bastard. Like, do you know what I mean? And for me, it's just, it's not how the MotoGP works. That's kind of how Formula One works. Everything is super secret and everyone in the paddock knows, but no one's announcing because it's all PR related, and you're just like, ugh. Saying that though, I did read during the week that in the first quarter of this year so far, MotoGP has lost 26 million.
Really? I thought their attendance was up. It's just the transfer cost. I don't know. When you start up a business like that, you're going to have extra costs, though. Don't forget.
Yeah, and I think that's what it actually is. It's probably down to the extra investment that they are making and doing. And I think this more building on next year and the years after. And like, I do know for a fact that they are looking for a new CEO. So old man Dorna is definitely on his way out. There's been multiple names linked with this, like even including a chap by the name of Christian Horner. But saying that, look, everyone's name is being linked with it, so nothing means anything anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems odd, Christian Horner a bit. for him to come from Formula One and be such a large player in Formula One and come over to and go to MotoGP.
Yeah, but like you look at what's his name, Gunther Steiner. You have Davide Brivio was ex Formula One.
You're right, Brivio was, yeah.
What's his name from Aprilia? Romano? No. What's the boss of Aprilia's name? Can't think of his name.
No.
He was Ferrari aerodynamicist. Like so it's not new. But I suppose, like, when you look at the likes of Christian Horner and all of that, obviously controlling Red Bull Racing, has a good basis of understanding of commercial rights and stuff like this. So you could kind of see how the lure of it would be, but again, it may or may not be true. There's so many. You're seen in the paddock talking to senior officials from Liberty Media, and you already have the job. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of pinch of salt at that. Now, one thing that's not pinch of salt, and you're gonna like, I'm gonna make you fucking frown there now in a second, is that they're talking about getting rid of the whole shot device mid-season.
Jesus.
Mid-season, yeah. I'm only joking, for a couple of races. So what they're talking about is, I don't know, it was on Thursday or Friday, there was a meeting of the Safety Commission, especially around tracks where turn 1 is a fast corner. So, for example, the likes of turn 1 in Le Mans, did you see Marco Bezzecchi's bike actually sparking off the ground?
Yeah.
When he was turning, and that was the foot peg, right? So like anything could have fucking happened there, where because the right height, they didn't brake, so everyone's right height was still engaged going through the corner, which is not fucking ideal, to be fair, right? To be very fair. Silverstone is like that, and what's the other one? Phillip Island, because they don't brake hard enough to disengage it. They're talking about getting rid of it now.
You're right.
I'm kind of a little bit worried about it, right? Because I'm kind of going, okay, well, one accident with one rider and it being locked down and they're gone. And then I'm thinking, okay, if all these lads are well used to having disengaged and launching off 40 times in the year, and then they're expected 6 times a year to not fucking use it, you know what I mean? It's a fucking recipe for disaster. You know?
That's
so, So yeah, so look, I don't know what the actual outcome will be. I think we'll find out in due course. One thing I do want to say as well, actually, is I want to give a massive shout out to Jeremy McWilliams. I don't know, did you see it over the weekend, Jake? But the Northwest 200 was on, and did the 62-year-old, 60 fucking 2 years of age, and he fucking won. Like. Fucking hats off to you. Yeah, you know, whatever was Super Twins or whatever, so I don't care. Do you know what I mean? To be fucking that competitive, that far. And Jeremy McWilliams has just made a fucking liar out of you. Is how we call it, right? Because you're like, you can't beat Father Time. He's fucking well beat the kid. Do you know what I mean? And he's well beaten by 20 odd fucking years. Do you know what I mean? He should not be nowhere near the fucking motorbike. Do you know what I mean? Maybe sitting on top of it going, waving at the crowd, you know what I mean, as it's being pulled around the track on the trailer. And there's your man, road racing.
Yeah.
At the second most dangerous road race in the world, and he's fucking coming out on top. I just thought, fuck me, what a boy, like.
Yeah, you know, neuropathy hasn't done anything that hasn't affected him at all.
No, but like even when you hear him kind of speak, do you know what I mean? Like, you can hear he's still fucking engaged, like, do you know what I mean? And they were asking him about, you know, slowing down that, and he's like, no. And like, he's like, he doesn't trade obviously as hard as he should, but you know what I mean? He's like 62 years of age, like, what do you expect him to be doing? Like, running 25 miles a fucking day? He's like, that's not gonna fucking happen.
Trust me, I know Mick Jagger does it, but you know.
Yeah, Mick Jagger.
Cool.
Mick Jagger doesn't fucking put on a fucking helmet and go 160, 170
You're right,
miles an hour next to a fucking ditch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is no mistake. There is no. But what a boy! Have to like take my fucking hat off to him. It's fucking amazing to see his work. The other news I have is Davide Brivio going to Honda from Trackhouse.
Really?
Yep.
Well, Honda needs somebody. That's another European they need.
I think so too, yeah. But you know that, like, he will go in as a consultant.
Yeah.
But you know what that really means.
Yeah.
That Pooch is on his way, fucking. You know what I mean? Out the gap and good luck and fuck you. You know what I mean? So it will be interesting to see how that fares out. You know. It will be interesting to see how things go with that, because that would be a massive coup for Honda. Let's just call it, if they were to get him, because look, I personally believe he gets the best out of his riders. But it would be a massive loss to Trackhouse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Massive loss. So it will be interesting to see what goes down with it. What else is going on? I suppose.
I almost bought another F3RR. I couldn't pay the price. It was 13.2. You know, it's like buying champagne on a beer, you know, on a Budweiser budget.
Nothing wrong with Budweiser, kid. Except for those pricks that when they bring out the 0.0 Budweiser, like, why the fuck would you go to? Why? This is something I never figure out about. So these 0.0 alcohol drinks, right? So you can get like Heineken 0.0, Budweiser 0.0, Guinness 0.0, whatever fucking 0.0. So you go to a bar, right? And you can have a pint, right, with full alcohol in it, and just say it's €5.60, right?
Yeah.
Or you can have a pint, right, of 0.0 with no alcohol in it, and it's still €5.60.
Yeah.
And you're going to yourself, and I get it, and I understand people are there and they like to have a drink, and you can't drive when you're drinking over here. We're very strict over it and all of this. But I'm just like, would you just not have a glass of fucking water? You know what I mean? It's free. Do you know what I mean? Just have a glass of water. It's going to have the exact same effect on you. Do you know what I mean? And you've saved your €5 fucking 60.
Yeah, have a Dr. Pepper or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Like it fucking galls me when I go to the bar. My buddy's like, "Oh, I'm on the 0.0s." I'm like, "I'm not buying you a fucking 0.0. I'm just not fucking buying you a 0.0." So I mean, there you are. Then you're fucking half scuttered, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm on my 0.01% alcohol." Fucking kid. Like, anyway, that's enough of my problems. But you know what I mean? But again, it's the
principle of the matter.
It's the principle, yeah.
Yes.
Just have a glass of fucking water. Honda, I don't know. I wouldn't be afraid to ride a Honda next year. You know, if they've learned the lessons that they're learning this year, and over the past 2 to 3 years, you know, what's his name? Romano, the fellow that left from Aprilia anyway, has made a massive dent into Honda and their psychological way of going racing and getting rid of the arrogance of we are Honda, so we're cut, we're going to fucking do it. You know, he has brought in a good thing. And like for Mir, I have to say, Mir has done apps by eating so much gravel. Mir has done absolutely no harm to his career. Because, like, the way a rider crashes and you're like, he's fucking goosed anyway. I think there'll be teams lining up, smaller teams lining up to get his signature next year. And I really genuinely do, because
his ride, I still think his riding's improved, even though he's went down, because at least he has some speed with him.
yeah. You can make a fast rider reliable. You can't fucking make a slow rider fast. Do you know what I mean? I think
I don't know what changed him. I don't know where his balls fell down. The balls dropped or what. But
yeah. Or maybe they just got his balls placement correct in his race suit. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he's comfortable now. You know, so but no, look, I think I like to give people credit when they're doing well. I think Agora did really well over the weekend. Still kind of a little bit jury out him. I thought maybe he'd be a little bit more consistent on his second year, and he's not really thereabouts yet. But saying that, he's when he's flying, he's flying. Yeah, so it's just a weird weekend, and then of course Jakey Poo, we're straight into Catalonia, this weekend.
Good. I like how I hate having one missing in the middle.
I don't mind having ones missing in the middle, but like when it's 2 or 3 weeks away, you're kind of like not forgetting about it, but you're kind of forgetting about it, and then you're like, oh fuck, it's the night before, it's like it's a race, it's a race this weekend. Yeah, so I will just say that Sunday's video will be well delayed, probably be into Monday. So we'll be shooting the podcast Monday as well, Shaky Boo. Yeah, because I have something on from 3 to about 12 midnight. I could be very hungover, Jake. So, it'll be what it'll be. So yeah, so I suppose when we're looking at the race, like Catalonia is one of my favorite racetracks, and it's definitely one of the most picturesque racetracks. Everyone loves the picture. I think it's through turn 6 or 7, where they're leaning their shoulder on the curb. Do you know what I mean? And their head is nearly touching the ground. I think that's probably one of the most iconic motorbike pictures, where they're at like 62 degrees lean angle, or 63 degrees, or whatever the fucking is.
I actually think Marquez should just cruise the season, or maybe retire for half a season. Let everything heal up.
That's what everyone is saying, Jake.
Come back on 27, 28.
And that's what everyone's kind of saying, right? And hear me out on this, and I know it sounds really sounds an AI fucking Marc Marquez retires, but I don't know, man. I have a feeling, right, this season he hasn't been the same Marc Marquez this season. Yes, he's been recovering from the injury. Yes, he's been publicly downplaying his chances at the championship, right? But we all know Marc Marquez, that he goes into everything with 110%. Right? Yeah. He wants to win it. He wants to do this. But I don't see that same fucking viciousness this season, right? And hear me on this. This is where I'm going. Is right. He was on the GP25, which was a bit of a back step at the start from the GP23. 2.0 of what he was on. Right? And then the bike just seemed to got worse. And if you're a rider like Marc Marquez, yes, you won the championship handily last year, and you come into a championship and you're not feeling the bike is not there, and the doubts start to creep in of like, am I fucking enjoying this? Do you know what I mean? And then you start having accidents. And then you have a fucking big one. Do you know what I mean? He had a big one. What was it when he supposedly broke the screws? What was it, Thailand? I can't remember. I can't remember. And then he had like to be fair, he had a proper like thrown out the fucking front door of the bike. Like, do you know what I mean? He was like,
Oh yeah, the last one. Ooh,
do
that
you
was
know
a
what I
high
mean?
attack from hell.
Yeah. So, um,
And it landed on his right shoulder too.
well, it wasn't. It wasn't actually the landing. Well, okay, obviously the landing hurt, but if you saw the bike pump, right, you did see his shoulder go straight into the, like the headstock area of the bike or tank headstock area of the bike, and I was looking at that and I was like, going, that's going to hurt. And I often wonder to myself when I heard about him talking about like, oh, it was planned. I don't know. I think did he do some fucking serious damage? With like, if you go and watch the replay of his crash slowly, you see the pump, and as the legs come up over the head, the bike comes back up and hits him in the shoulder, and then fucks him off, right, and throws him out the front door. And I was like, but you know that fighters thing of like, it's hard to get up and be hungry when you're sleeping with silk sheets or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just wonder, is he that point of his career where he's like, do I really need this? Like, he needed that last world championship to kind of vindicate, okay, I've been through the mill, I've fought adversity, I've come back, I am the person I am. I still have what I believed I have. Do I need to prove anymore? Yes, I want to beat Valentino Rossi's thing. No, I do not want to have one arm for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that's that fucking nagging doubt that creeps in on top of you. And I suppose it was one of the things that I was really wondering was that, is this contract nearly there? Is Marquez being prickly? Is Marquez being non-committed and kind of saying, well, maybe I'm going to see where I am next year or midway through the season? Like, remember, Mark is in control of this contract signing.
Oh yeah.
Mark is in 100%, because if Ducati say, oh well, fine, they've already lost Pecco, they're getting Acosta in, question is, who would not want to ride on a Ducati besides Marc Marquez? There's not a lot of people who would turn that seat down. So for me, when I look at it, that's where so I now look, this is completely out there, right? It is completely out there, but my vibe is that I don't know, it's not the same Mark this year as last year. There's not that same hunger, viciousness. Don't get me wrong, he's riding hard.
Yeah.
He's getting stuck in, but that's in a race scenario.
He's not as charged up, let's put it that way. He's not as charged up to win. You know what I mean? It's not like that. Come on, let's rock and roll. Get on the bike and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's just kind of where I think it is, and I don't know. So yeah, so look, that's kind of where I think, or what I kind of think is happening. I think Mark is a little bit second guessing, a little bit of doubt is in there as well now. You know what I mean? He has the girlfriend, he has, well, she's the fiance now, isn't she? So it's about kids and building family life and all of this, and
kids, the dog, the braces. You know what I mean?
But like, it's walk away with your health, man. At the end of the day, he's looking at his fucking arm there. Do you know what I mean? There's multiple fucking scars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's gonna go through an awful lot of pain later on in fucking life with arthritis and fucking this, that, and the other. And yeah, he was Marc Marquez that could fucking bounce down the road at 200 mile an hour, get back up and whatever. And yeah, that doesn't happen when you're fucking older. Like, do you know what I mean?
And when you start getting chronic pain, pain. When I say chronic, I mean pain that just doesn't go away. No matter what you do, okay, there's some there, okay?
Yeah.
And your body gets used to it, but it doesn't get used to it. That's hard to explain. You get used to it, so you're not in agony, but it's there, and you don't really, until you take a pain pill, you don't even realize it's there, and then you go, oh my god, I feel so much better,
Yeah.
but then it wears off, and then you're back to the chronic pain again. You know, and it's just a
But it
never.
does, yeah, it
You know,
does.
then you have no sleep in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, but it just wears you out. Like, do you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
makes you. It just and you have no real good quality of life. So, look, I could be completely wrong, but look, that's kind of my vibe that I've got off Mark is that maybe he's kind of looking and saying, "Is it enough? Have I done enough? Am I satisfied with what I've done?" And those are all the big questions. And like I've always said, there's nothing worse than in a racer's mind or even a fighter's mind that doubt. Do you know what I mean? Have I still got it? Do I do this? Because let's be fair, Mark has come out in what we would all have said at the start of this year, the strongest team, strongest engineering, probably strongest bike by just a small bit, most talented rider, and he can't make it work. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he is injured still with the thing, but you know, I have the feeling from day dot, and I really believe what Pecco said that, you know what I mean. Like last year, I was having these problems, and now Mark is going through it, and it's just like it's not a na right, but it was like you were all fucking blowholing about Mark last year, and now he's having the issues, and let's see can he get out of it. Do you know what I mean? And he looks right now. Won't say it for the rest of the season, but it looks right now. He can't find a setting that suits him either. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, for a second there, it did look like he had it. God, that qualifying run. Talk about hanging it all, letting it all hang out. Did you see him ride? I mean,
but look again. Like he reminds me so much of Cal Crutchlow, right? Like Cal Crutchlow could bite the screen and do fucking one unbelievable lap.
Yep.
But Cal Crutchlow didn't have the pace. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He wasn't that final alien pace.
Quartararo can do that too. He can do lots. He can put that one lap in and just bite the bullet.
But he can keep the pace up. And you look at Quartararo's laps, he'll be somewhat consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, look, I suppose that's neither here nor there. I suppose, but the one last question, Jakey, that I need to ask you. We all know, and I keep this simple now, we all know that the circuit, the Barcelona, Catalonia, is very much so an Aprilia circuit. If Aleix Espargaro can win around there, majority of people can win around there, right? No offense, Aleix, right? Now, the question is, which one?
Which one?
Yeah, like Raul went well there last year.
Yeah.
So Iagora didn't go so well. Martin normally goes well around there. Bisecki went well around there. So
I want to take Bez because I think it's his back's up against the wall for his ego is going to be a bit touched.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be Martin. I think Martin just likes the circuit. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how things fare out there. You know, and I suppose it's Jake. I suppose where it's a real big changing of the guard, right? And I don't care what Massimo Rivola says, and he's like, "Oh, we don't. Joe, it's too early to say whether we."
Rivola.
Yeah, Joe.
That's brilliant. You couldn't remember?
I remember it now. Yeah. Like he was saying, "Oh, I don't think that we have the best bike yet," and it was too early to say that. Like the fact that a Ducati or a Ducati rider didn't even come into the thought process about who's going to win this weekend, that shows exactly where this is. You know what I mean? And where that bike is. But I suppose anyway, on that bombshell, we will wrap it up there for this week. We will
get you on the net.
Well, we have loads of news anyway. Whether it's the right news or the wrong news, I don't know.
At least it's honest news. Yeah,
it's honest news, and we're not fucking AI.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And Fabio.
These are our ugly asses. Like right here.
That's it. Yeah. And look, I'm not going to say Toprak's surname ever, so don't just get used to it, lads. There's
What?
always one. There's always one prick and goes, I noticed you didn't say Toprak's surname. Oh, God. You know what I mean? It's just like, anyway. On that bombshell, anyway, lads, we will rock out this week. We will be back on Tuesday next week with the podcast again. And enjoy the racing. Love to hear your comments and thoughts, especially about the silly season is really going to kick in. And just love to hear what your feedback on what you think is going to happen. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one. And see you next week.